Tonight's live stream telecast is being produced by ByJonny Nomad Media and Daytona Beach Live Stream Solutions. Up next on the Elevate stage, give it up for Andres Martinez.
Wow, it's just amazing and an honor to be here with you all tonight. Before we get started, show of hands, how many veterans do I have in the house? Excellent. How many of you guys at least know a veteran? Thank you, thank you. How many of you guys have ever lost someone tragically, maybe a little too early in their life? Show your hands. Thank you. Let's hit it. On average, 22 veterans take their own life every single day. Show of hands, how many of you guys knew that? Yeah, 22 a day is just too much. 22 a day is not okay. So my name is Andres Martinez. I'm a veteran. I'm a life coach. I'm a father, husband, and friend. I'm also a DJ, and I got plenty of stories to tell about that, but not tonight. We'll save that for next time. Tonight, I have a confession to make. I am not a combat vet. In the summer of 2001, I'm being from New York, I joined the Army. But then 9/11 happened. Fortunately for me, I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky with the 101st Airborne Division. Whoop! And I trained with the best of the best infantrymen there was. We knew our mission. But as the guys laced up their boots to go, I got left behind. You see, as we were leading up to deployment, we had one of those last weekends out, one of those last hurrahs. So I decided to roll up a joint and smoke it. Well, one of the guys didn't approve. So when we got back, he let the chain of command know. And that ended my Army career. Can you imagine being 22 and carrying all that guilt and shame? Man, it's like I let my team down. I knew changes had to be made, so more on that later. Last year, President Trump, he signed the Prevent Initiative. He put $70 billion into funding for vet health services. He knows that 22 a day is not okay. So the idea is to allow other veterans, especially those in remote locations, to start doing their appointments online, set it up virtually, get the prescriptions refilled virtually, get one-on-one online health coaching services. You see, 9 million vets depend on the VA. They also did something else. They changed the way they're approaching each individual. Instead of it just being a conventional question of, hey, what's the matter? They're now asking questions like, what matters most to you? The VA stepped up their game because they know 22 a day is not okay. And how each individual lives in between appointments is just as important. But can we do more? Yes, I think so too. And there's another group that seems to think the same way too. And they are spearheading a new movement that we're seeing, psychedelic medicine. Now, who is this group? Well, they go by MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. So who's MAPS? Well, they're a group of PhDs, MDs, scientists, and researchers that are exploring these psychedelics for therapeutic purposes. So things like MDMA, ayahuasca, LSD, psilocybin, and yes, even cannabis are now being used in clinical studies to treat things like PTSD. So unlike the unwise use back in the 60s, we're taking tools like MDMA and pairing it up with the legal psychotherapist, and the results have been amazing. So who's Molly? Well, what's MDMA? If you've been to a rave, you've probably heard of it before. But it's a pill. So you take this pill, and once you take it, you become more loving. You feel a little bit more open and trusting. However, you're more trusting of the therapist. And that's super important, too. And because of the methamphetamine base, you're actually awake, you're alert, and you want to explore your traumas while feeling safe to do so. MAPS is actually wrapping up their phase 3 clinical studies with fantastic results. Dr. Stan Groff said it best. He said, psychedelics are to the mind like the microscope is to biology and the telescope is to astronomy. Now, ayahuasca, that's a term you've probably been hearing a little bit more. Well, I found it 3 years ago at SoulQuest right here in Orlando, Florida. And it was through that experience that my entire life has changed. I became a better man. I made better choices. I no longer drink alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes, amongst other things. And now I have a new outlook on life, where I feel like I am fit for service. So picture this with me. Envision a wellness center right here in Daytona Beach, where our heroes, like our veterans, our first responders, can have a home base where they can come back and refocus on what's important to them. Maybe one day, 22 a day will be just one, and hopefully one day it will be none. Thank you. One last thing I wanted to mention before I go. You know, there's only a handful of people in my life that witnessed my departure from the Army, but never left a brother behind. And I want to thank Sergeant Justin Rush for being here tonight. I love you, man. I want to thank his fiance, my wife. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.